Hello, everybody. This is Jose. This is a sound check. Please go ahead and confirm that you hear my voice with a quick message. Very nice, everybody. Thank you so much. We just reached the top of the hour, so it's time to get started. Let me maximize the introduction slide so we can begin, as we always do in our sessions. Just 1 second here. I get everything ready and we begin, okay? Very nice. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you on Sunday. Today is Sunday, 16th of February, 2020, and we're getting together for sharpening purposes. Okay, so today it's all about taking advantage of the markets being closed and just polishing every single little detail of whatever is it that we do when we trade. Okay, and this could apply to anything. Could be risk management, could be the use of the methodology itself, the calibration of the apps that we use, questions and answers that you guys often ask, etc., etc., etc. Okay, and today the subject is going to be TradingView. Okay, we're gonna dive a little deeper into understanding TradingView. We receive consistent questions on how to use TradingView more efficiently, and therefore today is going to be a little bit of a platform day, going over technology questions on how to utilize the tool properly. You know, TradingView can be connected with brokers. There are so many different things that are available, and some of you are having difficulties when using them, or some of you may not be using certain features which are very useful because you don't know they exist. Okay, so today we're going to be exploring all of that, even though, of course, I am open to also take care of any question that you guys may have. So let's say you've been trading last week and a couple of things happened to you in some trade and you wonder, what do I do next time? So, you can certainly ask me those questions too, and anything related to the methodology, anything related to anything that we do in the get-together sessions, for sure, I'm here for you, my friends, even though we'll begin the session today with TradingView, okay? Let me take a look at the chat box before we start. Nice to see you, Mark, Edward, Mario, Bojan, Pansy. How are you, everybody? Leslie, Jay, Osman, Morningstar. Very nice to see you all. Jay, hello. I am new and very happy to be here. I have watched many of your wonderful YouTube videos, but I'd rather listen live. Thank you. My pleasure. And you make my day, my friend. It's certainly very nice to begin the session with such nice compliment from your end. Okay. Yeah. So again, as I always say, teamwork. Okay. We are helping each other. I learn from you guys as well. Many times you guys ask certain questions that you get me thinking. And so again, teamwork. I'll start leading the session today when it comes to TradingView, as I said, but we'll be ready to discuss anything else. Okay. So for sure, as I said, I'm here for you. So I am opening a browser here. I'm using Microsoft Edge in this particular case. It could be any other browser. Okay, let me close YouTube. We don't need YouTube. So, and what I'm going to do using that browser is I'm just going to go ahead and use tradingview.com. Okay, so let me open that page because we're going to start from here. Okay. Yeah, I'm just reading your comments. Very nice, everybody. So, okay, so what do we have here? Okay, so we have a website called tradingview.com. Notice I am logged in, so you can see here my name, Jay Blasco. That means I am logged in. So just to start from the very, very beginning, I'm just gonna sign out, okay, leave this website completely, and that will bring me to what is the generic TradingView website. Okay, and you can see there is a button here to launch a chart. You can also get to charts clicking that button. But the first thing that you need to know, which it seems that many of you, out of the questions that we receive, are not aware of it, is that many of you are looking at TradingView like it is a charting product, and certainly it's an amazing charting piece of charting technology. But also, TradingView has a social component that allows you to interact with others, follow others, share trades with others, comment on other trades, have others comment on your trades. So there is a lot here, and you can kind of, where it says here ticker, you can get a little bit of a view of the things that you can do with TradingView if you click on the drop-down menu. where you can see that you can search for tickers for, let's say you want to look at the euro, Microsoft. So you can certainly look for that and type this in the search bar. But you can also look for trade ideas. You can also look for educational ideas. You can also look for scripts, and you can also look for people. Okay, so what are people? Well, people is people. It's other traders that are part of the community that may be there, and you could message with them. You can send them one of your charts. You can do many things with those other traders. Okay, scripts. What is scripts? Well, scripts is the programming language of TradingView, and there are people in the community that may develop a little simple application. And just like you could share a picture of your chart, you can also share one of those little applications that you may have designed. Maybe an indicator that does something with the ATR or anything else. Okay. Then also within scripts, you also have more complex advanced scripts, which are, it doesn't say here, but I mean, all of you know, isn't it? Because many of you use it. So it's what we call the invite only scripts, okay? Which those are scripts that are shared in the community, but only to the people that are invited to use them, okay? So in other words, those are normally paid type of technology, such as AutoUFO, that would be an invite only script falling into this category, okay? Then we have educational ideas and trading ideas. Okay, so this is basically the same. This is going to be people sharing their charts. Okay, but typically, if you were to share your charts, and it's because you are doing, let's call it some sort of a market report. So then you may classify when you post it, you may classify it as an educational idea. If you were to share your chart and it's more like a trade with execution instructions, like, hey, I want to buy the euro at this price. So then normally you would tag it as a trading idea. But basically both ideas, educational or trading ideas, are posts that people will share. Okay. And finally, ticker, well, that's what it is. As I said, if you were to type MSFT, for example, which is Microsoft, then you get access to all the Microsoft products. Okay. Microsoft that trades in the US, Microsoft that trades in Argentina. If you scroll down, Microsoft CFDs, etc., etc., etc. Okay, and then if you were to hit enter, so then you get information about the chart of Microsoft. Okay, but then you get all sort of information as well, such as financial information, profile of the company, and a lot more. Okay, and this is kind of like, like a, let's call it a more advanced version of Yahoo Finance that allows you some social capabilities, such as sharing, information between the users. Okay, so really the best way, before I get really deeper into the chart section, which is of course the most important one, before getting into using TradingView, the best thing you could do is to get yourself a username, because instead of using TradingView as an anonymous user, you can then sign in, and this opens the door to, again, contacting with others, commenting, private messaging people, etc., and you basically unlock a lot of the features as well as the social component, instead of just getting a page that kind of like resembles, as you can see, let's call it Yahoo Finance, Google Finance, any of those very generic websites. Okay, so you then get into much more advanced tools. Okay. How are you, Finance Corp? Very nice to see you, my friend. Very nice that you are joining us on the Sunday morning. Have a great day. Very nice. And so therefore, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign in. Okay. But before I sign in, I already have a username. So what if you don't have a username? Okay. Well, you can come into more, and then you can click on, I believe it's the pricing section. Okay. So you come in, let me point at it again, click on more, and then pricing. Okay, and then you would see the different ways on how to have a username with TradingView, which, by the way, when you click pricing, you will see that there is a way known as basic, which is basically free, and it's free forever. So it's an authentic membership with many benefits, and there is no cost involved. Okay, it's always kind of like multiple step, to click here and there. And we had many cases of users getting kind of lost in the website and things. So we have created a direct URL that it's kind of like depending on our website. So if you use tradewithufos.com, which is our website, and then you add /TradingView, Okay, this brings you straight into that same page I just showed you. Okay, but you don't need to look for the right option in the menu. Okay, so if any of you want to do that, so this is one way to do it. Okay, but anyway, so once you come in here and you click on Start Now, clicking on Start Now will bring you to a place where basically you will sign up, create a username, a password, you will type your email, you will receive an email, you will validate your email so they know the email is authentic. And basically, just like any other website, you basically get yourself a username and now you're in. Okay. So there are more type of memberships. We can talk about that later on as well. But what I'm going to do for now is just to go ahead and sign in as Jose Blasco, which is my username, J Blasco, okay, and login, okay. The one username I use most of the time, to be honest, in the sessions is not J Blasco. I normally use Tradictive, okay. You will see here Tradictive, which is the name of our company. But right now in this initial practice, I will use J Blasco, and the reason why is because J Blasco is a basic username. Okay, so we're gonna start discussing TradingView from the basic functionality point of view, and then we'll talk about some of the functions from the right side, which could be interesting to you as well. Okay, so how do you know you are logged in? Well, you know if you are logged in the moment you see your name. If you don't see your name, it means you are not logged in, and therefore functionality is capped. Okay. Okay. So once you have logged in, okay, the typical action that you would do is click on charts. Okay, and TradingView gives you the option, as you can see here, to save what TradingView calls chart layouts, which basically it's similar to what TradeStation or other platforms may call workspaces or work areas or something like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna click on the one that I have named as Trade with UFOs, and this will bring just a simple chart. Okay, just a simple chart where in this chart I got AutoUFOs on the top, I got Auto Climate in the bottom, and I got a specific chart here. Okay, cool. So I want to dive into specific functionality for the charts and shortcuts, and I want to talk about brokers as well, interaction with brokers and everything else. Okay, but before I do it, just to be also visual, I want to go ahead and bring my other trading view, which is I'm just going to load it on a different browser. Okay, so that way there is no kind of overlap. So 1 second, everybody. I'm just loading it on my other computer screen. Okay, and this other browser, okay, you kind of, let me put them side by side. Okay, so you can see on the right side, and you will realize it's a different browser because the top here is dark color. I'm using the dark theme with Microsoft Edge, but here on the left I got Google Chrome, and I am not using the dark theme. I'm using the normal theme, which is white. Okay, so that way it helps you to differentiate that I have a different browser on the right and I have a different browser on the left. Okay, but what's different really, it's really not the browser, because if you I mean, it's a different browser, but my point is that if you click on the right, notice that I am logged in under J Blasco, where if I click on the left, which is a different browser, notice that I am logged in as TradingView. And there is a big difference. If I click on the profile for TradingView, Tradictive, if I click on the profile for Tradictive, notice here I got the word premium, where if I click on the profile for J Blasco, notice that here it doesn't say anything about premium. Why? Because it's a basic user. Okay, and this premium unlocks a series of features. Okay, and this is basically what you find in let me go back to this list, where if I scroll down, okay, you have the different plans, basic, pro plus, and premium, and you can see if I scroll down, you can see the different features are summarized here. Okay, so for example, the platform is using HTML5. That is true, starting with Pro. Okay, if it's basic, it's just basic HTML4, not 5. The amount of charts that you can have per tab, it's 1 on the basic, it's up to 8 on the Pro. So, for example, if I go back to the basic and I want to use a chart, okay, charts. So I want to use a chart, and let's say I want to use multiple charts, you would come here to click this button, which is where the layouts are. Okay, so when I click on this button, I have different possibilities. I can have one chart, two charts in vertical position, two charts horizontal positions. I can have three multiple types of positions. You can see I can have 4, 5, 6, or 8. But notice that even if I click 2, okay, then I'm gonna get this message that says, hey, this is not possible. The free plans only support one chart. Okay, so this is basically what it says here, where it says basic one chart per tab. If I was to do the same with my browser on the left, which is, remember, I'm logged in as Tradictive, which is premium, and I was to pick 8, for example, then next thing you know, it's loading 8 charts, as you can see, which is something I cannot do on the right with the basic plan. Okay. And by the way, this is really not that useful, to be honest, unless you are, maybe you are using a collection of very big screens at home, and you spend a lot of time in front of your computer, and you are a very visual person, and you really like to have many charts open, looking at all the currencies, all the futures, all the markets, and kind of like feel that you are driving the enterprise ship. Okay, so in cases like that, certainly that's a nice feature to have, but it's I would say it's quite optional. You can plan trades of the best quality by using one chart at a time. It's absolutely fine. Okay. Well, by the way, one thing that happens as well with the basic plan, of course, and makes sense, and it's I guess it's acceptable, is that from time to time we'll have pop-up advertisement that shows up here. That it's very simple. You just click anywhere, or depending on the advertisement. Sometimes you click anywhere and it goes away. Sometimes you have to click on the X and then it goes away. You see, for example, here it says hide for now. If I click anywhere, it goes away. So again, it's not that bothering, but again, depending on your personalities and your preferences, some of you may want to remove it, and that would imply some sort of a subscription. Okay. So anyway, this is how it works, and I would kind of let you guys explore the different features, because the list is quite long. Okay, so and therefore there is time to be spent here, and I think that I can help you better by looking at the functionality on the charts and things like that. I think that would be more relevant in today's session. But before I do that, I will just point at what I think could be relevant for you to know, which is first the custom time intervals. Okay, the custom time intervals. So if you think about, let me bring that from the get together sessions. Okay, so for example, if I bring in Forex, just to pick one. Okay, so if we look at the time frames that we utilize, let me zoom in. Here we go. So what do we say? Well, we have the common time frames and we have the edge time frames, right? And both the edge and the reactive, okay, you probably remember our preference is to use fib numbers. It is okay to use numbers that are not fib, such as the 15-minute time frame. The 5-minute time frame is a fib number as well, but not the 15. So it is okay to use those. As I always say, if it was not okay, it would not be in the list, okay? But there is an advantage of using fibs, as you know, from the sharpening sessions that we have done before. So if you want to use fib timeframes, those are customized timeframes that are not default on most of the trading platforms, and in this sense, TradingView is no different. But they are customizable, and you could add them. So, for example, here you can see I got the 8, I got the 21. Those are Fibonacci timeframes. Notice the X next to this figure. What does it mean? It means that I could erase it. For example, the 5 has no X next to it, meaning that I cannot get rid of this line. There is nothing for me to get rid of that line. Okay. Why is that? Because by default, the 5 is one of the default timeframes, and therefore it shows up by default on the menu, where the 8 is not. So how did the 8 end up showing up here? Well, if you scroll down all the way to the bottom, you will now see here on the very, very bottom, we have the word add. Okay, so what does that mean? That here, if I want to create, let's say I want to create the 610-minute time frame, which is a fib number. Okay, so I would just type 610, click add, and magic, the 610-minute time frame just showed up. So this is how you do it. And now if you don't want to use it, you just come in here, click on the X, and then it goes away. And this is how you customize your list of timeframes, with TradingView. Now, for you to be able to do that, and this is something that certainly it's relevant for me to discuss with you, you will need at least a pro plan. The basic plan would not allow you to do that. Again, it's not critical, especially if you're going to be trading larger timeframes. It is certainly not critical, but as the name of the timeframe suggests, edge timeframes, it may give you a little bit of an edge. And if you happen to be a very active trader, perfectionist guy, you're really involved in the marketplace. So this may be a feature that you appreciate having available. Okay, so then you would not have enough with the basic plan if that was to be the case. Okay, what else is relevant here? So if I keep going down, the bar replay. Okay, so the bar replay, that's another feature in TradingView. I'm pretty sure all of you have seen the bar replay before because I have demonstrated that in the past. Let me get rid of all the tools, okay, here, so I got more space on the screen. That's it. We got nothing on the screen, okay, so neat, brand new chart, okay? So we have a chart here, okay, and the bar replay is right here. This, my friends, it's a fantastic tool for backtesting purposes, okay? And backtesting, I mean, let me ask you this question, and you guys tell me what you think. Why would I say that backtesting is important in the life of a trader, especially a new trader? Why would you say it's that important? Okay, I will just give you a clue. It starts with C, okay? And let's see what your answers are, okay? CJ Jose, I'm not a TradingView user. I do not trade Forex. In this session, going to be all about TradingView. I plan to spend most of the time on TradingView, Jay, today. Know that TradingView is not only Forex, okay? Know that TradingView can be connected to other platforms such as TradeStation and things like that. Know that TradingView, I will show you that later, has a trading app that you can have on your phone where you can basically monitor the markets as you are on the go. So let's say, for example, that you trade futures or options on TradeStation, but then you are on the go and you want to monitor and do some trade management as you are on the go. Well, probably you have an easier time doing that with TradingView, even though it's not Forex, it's futures or stocks, okay? Because of the mobile app and everything else, because you will see that later, the mobile app integrates amazingly well with the web, because basically it mirrors whatever you have on the web, it's on the phone and vice versa. So I think that no matter if you're trading Forex or not, I think this session could be important or useful. I mean, I certainly understand if Forex is not your priority, so maybe you want to watch this recorded and watch it little by little at your own pace. This is absolutely fine as well, Jay. Okay, if you have to go, I totally get it. But at the same time, just remember, TradingView is a platform that beyond Forex, you could have here anything. So you tell me stocks, here is Microsoft, that's a stock. You tell me, wait a minute, I want to trade stocks, but I want to trade stocks in Singapore. So maybe you want to trade DBS Bank in Singapore. So now you got Singapore stocks. Or you tell me, wait a minute, I want to trade Chinese securities, or I want to trade securities in Thailand, or I want to trade cryptocurrencies. Okay, so I come here for the Bitcoin. So now you got the cryptos. So again, TradingView is just a fantastic trading platform with almost every single data feed that exists in the market, and certainly all the relevant markets. So again, not sure if you're feeling it, but I quite really like TradingView, in case you didn't feel it, and that's why I'm suggesting that probably it's a good idea that you stick around. Okay, but again, this is gonna be recorded. Okay, so you decide. Okay, and I totally understand that in most of the sessions I do use TradingView for Forex. Okay, confidence. Very good. Very good. Nice. Morningstar, our indicators, our apps are in TradeStation and TradingView. Okay, and the reason why we don't have them in Ninja and things like that, which is a fantastic platform, and you know what, there may be times where if the amount of you guys requesting the tools to be available in certain platform, so we may open the door to that. Okay, but at the same time, Ninja, for example, doesn't give you charts unless you have certain data feed, and data feeds need to come from brokers, and many brokers will charge you for it and stuff like that. Well, with TradingView, many of the data feeds are free, and if they are not, there are ways to connect brokers that often gives you free data feeds into TradingView as well, as I will show you today. So again, most of our app users that are trading utilizing executing, I should say, utilizing platforms such as NinjaTrader, or other platforms, okay, TD Ameritrade, Interactive Brokers, what's the name of that other broker? Oh, again, there are so many, right? So what most of the traders do, Tasty works, same thing, Pansy. So what most of the people do is do all their analysis and planning with TradingView, and then they only use the other platforms for execution purposes. But that way, you have a platform which is multi-market, no matter what, which is mobile as well. And if your broker, let's say, raises commissions, or like it happened in America in 2019, right, where many brokers went into a commission model which is commission free, but not all of them did it. Okay, so let's say your broker didn't do it, and now you have to change broker, and this implies changing platform. Now you have to relearn a platform. You may not have the tools. So again, TradingView just make it so much more universal, because TradingView is not a broker. Okay, so this is why we rather put efforts into developing more tools for TradingView to help you guys, instead of having the same tool in more brokers, because in the end, then we are all depending on those brokers. And you know what happens in those large companies, isn't it? Next thing you know, there is a merger, a platform that was great is not useful anymore. So, again, depending on technology in that sense is not a good idea, no? Or depending on a broker in that sense is not a good idea. So that's the long story short. But coming back to market replay, okay? I'm glad we're having this conversation, guys, because it may sound a little bit like we're having a simple session today, talking about, where to click to do something. In one hand, it is true that it's a simple one today, but in the other hand, there are so many questions that you guys send all the time, asking for all those details. Hey, if I use TradingView, what happens with Ninja? Or how do I connect the data feed if I have, this broker? And so we're gonna go over all those things today, and hopefully everything will be clear. Okay. AMP, okay, very good. So we'll look at AMP as well later on, Morningstar, because you'll see, that there are ways on how to connect those other brokers to TradingView too. Okay, Osman, the order flow source comes from how many brokers, since FX is decentralized? Well, there is no source of on-field orders, like for example, in the old times. When the markets were traded manually by people, you would have, every broker will have a trading book, right? And nowadays, if you wish, there is still a trading book. But the problem is that nowadays, with the speed of technology and with all the large market participants, especially market makers, co-locating their servers in the same buildings as the exchanges or big key banking organizations where they have their own servers as well. So what happens is that those very fast computers, like 2 meters away, you will fiber optic connected to the market makers. What they do is that they place orders and they cancel orders at the speed of the light. So when you look at the books nowadays, you get to see a lot of information which is constantly changing, where a lot of that information has only one purpose, which is to trick people. So for example, they want the market to go up. Market makers and large market participants may add very, very big orders in the book. Everybody believes it's going to go up. And when those orders are about to get filled, those orders are canceled at the speed of the light. And next thing you know, everybody gets disappointed, or vice versa. When they want to buy a lot, and it's true, it's not a tease, it's a real one, they are not going to place a big order. What they do is to use iceberg orders, where they break their big order into random pieces and just keep throwing tiny orders at slightly different prices. And if you were to look at the book, you would only see small orders, and it would not feel interesting. So the way technology AutoUFOs, and I welcome you to watch the videos on YouTube on how does AutoUFO work. What AutoUFO is doing is not looking at the book per se, but is looking at traces that suggest that there is institutional action at certain price levels, and therefore a very high probability of on-field orders waiting to get filled. That is by far much more relevant, and stats prove that, compared to looking into the books. Okay, and if you think about, if some of you have been trading for a while, so probably you will remember when the markets became electronic in 1995. or the 90s in general, because it was not exactly that year, depending on which market. But especially like if you think about the time where the Nasdaq exchange was born, which was an electronic exchange from the beginning, and electronic trading started in a way that was quite massive. At that time, one of the best techniques on how to trade was to look at price points in the market, such as support, resistance, or whatever, and then contrast those price points with level to screens. And if you were to see big orders on the level to screen, and that was a support line, for example, where you would just buy there knowing that you have a high probability trade. And the reason why is because at that time, placing an order and cancel an order would take, I don't know, maybe 2 seconds. And, people were trading, and, the connections at the time were dial-up modem connections, so it was not like nowadays where placing and canceling orders is the speed of the light. So in other words, the way to look at order flow and unfilled orders needs to be much more from a statistical point of view, instead of looking at the real orders that are there waiting to get filled, because those orders are often teases, and the real one are never presented to us like a big order, and therefore you will never know exactly where they are unless you are looking for traces and statistical price behavior when those traces were found before, extrapolating that, today we should have orders at a certain price level. Okay. Again, very interesting question. I'm totally diverting from what I'm supposed to be doing with TradingView, but again, as I said, it's all very important as questions, and in the end, it's all everything is quite related. So I really appreciate this question, Osman. Okay. Mark, I see the ad for the broker IG on your screen. What do you think about them? Well, they are a CFD broker. So basically the product they give you is a decentralized product, and they are the ones making the markets for that. So they are certainly a very serious company, and so on. But if you were to trade with them with a very limited account, with a plenty of leverage, I would say probably you are adding lots of danger on your end. Okay, that's what I would say. Having said all of that, with all respects for IG markets, I have never traded with them, so maybe I'm missing on trading with a very good broker. But this is what common sense would suggest me to think without having tested their services. Okay, good. So hey, back to where I was, market replay. Okay, so we're talking about market replay, and if you have never seen this, again, this is very important because you can replay the markets and work on exercises, speed up the process to learn, speed up the process to contrast and confirm that your application of a methodology is correct and that the methodology is providing what you want, by replaying the market instead of waiting for the market to happen. And the way to do that is you just click on replay, and this bar shows up. And then, the moment you move your mouse to a certain location and you click, then the market rewinds to that point in time. And then if you were to just come, sorry for that, I just clicked in the wrong place. Then if you were to just come here and click on the play button, okay, let me do it, 1, 2, 3, play. So now, as you can see, the market is replaying, and you can control the speed and make it replay very slowly. Okay, so now this is like one candle every 3 seconds, or you can make it replay very fast. And what's the beauty of doing that? Because you may say, oh, wait a minute, I don't need market replay to do backtest. Okay, you may say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna pretend that this is, let me get a drawing tool here. So I'm gonna pretend that this is the day. Oh, I just got here we go. So I'm gonna pretend that this is the day where I traded, and I'm gonna pretend I'm taking a trade here, and then I look at what happened, and then I will document this in a spreadsheet, and then I can look at my stats. And certainly ignoring whatever is on the right, okay, pretending you take a trade right here and documenting what happened next, is certainly a valid way to backtest. And you don't need a market replay button to be able to do that. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure most of you will agree with me if I say that the temptation, especially for a new trader, okay, especially if you're excited about trading, if you are in a rush to get to find your performance, especially if you happen to be a little bit of a greedy person, we are all human. We all got our things, isn't it? So I guess that most of you will agree with me that it's very difficult to avoid the temptation to look right. Okay, and sometimes you are like, okay, I'm going to take a trade here, and then you may see that the trade didn't go too well, and you're like, wait a minute, and unconsciously you may find an excuse to say like, you know what, this is the day I took the trade, and that's a much better outcome, isn't it? And you know what, that's not realistic, but this is how you documented it, and now you believe that your methodology is going to provide a certain result, where the fact is that you kind of cheated a little bit. And it's kind of funny because you did it to yourself, but I mean, I'm not sure if someone with us in the group today is an expert in human psychology. I'm not, okay, but I've seen it enough in my life in many fields that I've seen people around me to convince themselves of things where the opposite is true, but they choose to convince themselves. And there is objective data to confirm the opposite, but they live their life like the opposite is true. And probably I do that myself without realizing in certain fields of my life, because I'm human too. But at the same time, we don't want this to happen to us in trading, isn't it? So going back to Sirius, okay, so what's the beauty? Well, you click on replay, okay, you go back to here, and if your trading methodology tells you, hey, now you take a trade, so now you click on the play button, and now you can document whatever it is. And it kind of puts you in a position where it's very similar to a market condition. And the beauty is that you can even play with the speed. In other words, you can get very serious one week. For example, let's say you're a busy guy, and you want to develop your trading skill, but you have a very busy job, and it's difficult for you to find time to practice and develop a certain level of skill and confidence. But you know what? Next month you have 1 week out of work. So what do you do next month? Well, you use that 1 week to spend the whole week doing market replay. And what's the beauty is that 1 week of market replay may count as 3 months of trading. Is not the same, because you don't have money on the game and you don't have psychology involved. But when it comes to becoming aware of the power or lack of power of your methodology and your application of it, well, guess what? That week counts as like 3 months. It's a powerful, very, very healthy exercise for you guys to do. Okay, at least I personally love market replay. Really, really love this feature. It's very, very convenient, very, very nice. Okay, so now bad news and good news. Market replay, if I go back to where I was before, let me put it here, so I have it the same way. Here we go. Market replay, okay, bar replay with the free version of a TradingView only applies to the daily, the weekly, and the monthly time frame. So what if you trade using the 21-minute time frame? So you cannot do it. You need to go for Pro or something like that. Okay, so that's the bad news. What's the good news? Okay, well, the day you sign up for any of those, you guys see the word free trial? So what does that mean? It means that the moment you sign up for one of those, TradingView has as a process, and by the way, they may change that, and it may change in the future. I don't know, but the process they have up to this point, and it's been like that for a long time. So I would not envision this to change anytime soon. Is that basically they give you 1 month for free? That's what they mean by free trial. So you sign up for free for 1 month. This should give you time to use that 1 week when you are out of work to do your back testing and so on. And then you can choose to renew the subscription or not. Really, as I said, as long as you know what you're doing, you know what you have in your hands, the basic plan of TradingView is more than enough. Okay, but again, if you are in that phase where you would like to do back test and stuff, then connect your free trial. Just make sure you do it at a time where you happen to have time to take advantage of that 1 month for free, so then you don't have to renew. And if you like it so much that you want to keep it, so the good news is that this price that you can see here, the real price you will pay is half. Not that one, is half. So how can you get a 50% discount on this? Again, those things are TradingView commercial processes or policies, which may change anytime. I have zero control of it, of course. So if when you watch this video, it happens to be different, so you know what, that's what it is. But as of now, my understanding is if you sign up for a free trial during that 1 month, you can use it for free. Maybe let's say 2 weeks later, you will get a reminder that 15 days later, you have to renew if you want to keep it. So just ignore it. Maybe then 1 week later, meaning 1 week to go, you may get another kind of reminder, and now you are proposed with a 10% discount or something like that. Okay, they'll tell you, hey, make sure you renew. By the way, 10% discount if you do it now, right? So ignore it. Because later you receive another email, 20%, then receive another email, 30, 40%, all the way to maybe 1-2 days before the 30-day free trial period, you will get a 50% discount, and then you can grab it at that moment in time, and you can stick with it for 1 year. Okay, and then when you keep it for 1 year, for the following years, they will also do offers to you and stuff like that. Okay, so it's pretty okay. It's pretty okay. But anyway, it's certainly optional. I'm just sharing with you some of the tricks. Okay. Okay. So talking about some of the tricks, if we keep going down, let me see. Sorry for that, guys. Okay, so the last portion here, it's another relevant portion for us to discuss, which is the available markets inside TradingView. And notice this blue box, which talks about subscribing to real-time markets. Okay, well, this is important because in certain cases it's needed, in certain cases it's absolutely optional, and you don't need it at all. Okay, and we need to talk about it because when you open a chart with TradingView, when you come in here and you type MSFT, you need to know if you deal with real-time market data or not. You need to know that. By the way, before I get into showing you all the markets available, notice that you will always see on the upper right what's going on. So here it says market closed. During market hours, if you are charting a market that you have not subscribed for real-time market data, then it will say delayed. So how do you know if it's real time or not? You just look at the upper right and you will know what you got in your hands. If I look at, for example, the Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies trade 24 hours a day, isn't it? They never stop. So what's going to happen? Okay, we got nothing on the top. What does that mean? It's real time. Okay. What if I look at the euro US dollar? Okay, the euro US dollar, okay, does close. So it says market close. During market hours, Forex, being a decentralized market, will also provide free data on the charts, which are real time. Why? Because it's a decentralized product. So now same would happen if, for example, let's say you load XAU USD, okay, which is a CFD, contract for difference, okay, for the ones of you trading outside of the US. Maybe you are trading with Oanda, you are trading the XUD USD. Okay, so that's gold CFD, contract for difference. Okay, this is like the gold futures, but it's not futures. It's a CFD, contract for difference. It's a contract provided to you directly by the broker. There is no exchange, and therefore you will get real-time data because there is no exchange. Okay, but CFDs also close. So you will be able to see if the market is open or closed and is real time or delayed. Okay, and for example, if I use futures, okay, so ES, that's the S&P 500 futures. If I click on futures, you have S&P 500 E-mini. If I click on the drop-down menu, I can pick the March contract, the June contract, or maybe I want to look at the continuous contract. So I'm just going to click continuous. And when this loads, notice how it says the market is closed, hey, delayed. Okay, why? Because the S&P futures, it's a product that trades in an exchange. Therefore, the market data comes from the exchange itself. The exchange charges for data, and therefore, TradingView is kind enough to give us access to the delay data for free. But for you to get the real-time data, you will need to subscribe. It's not because TradingView wants to charge you, it's because the exchange charges TradingView, and therefore TradingView has to pass this to the subscribers. Okay, 1 second, guys, if that's okay. Sorry for that. Okay, Samit. Hi, Jose. It's midnight here. I will watch the recording later. Thank you for doing some for experts. Yes, absolutely, Samit. My pleasure. Thank you for that. So anyway, so this is the upper part is what you want to check to realize what you have in your hands the moment you load a chart. Okay, but anyway, let me go back to all those available markets in the bottom part of the tradingview.com page, because I want to first show you all those different markets, and you will see the fees for the subscription. But then I want to show you how to get most of those markets for free within TradingView by connecting TradingView to your brokers. Mm, so that way you actually don't have to subscribe. Okay, but anyway, let's begin. Worldwide markets. Okay, so what are the worldwide markets? Well, another way to say worldwide markets is decentralized. So what is decentralized? The currencies, the CFDs, the cryptos, those are decentralized products. Okay, and notice that they are all free and real time. Okay, so you don't need to do anything. Automatically all those markets are free for you to chart and to use no matter the time frame. So that's a good news. Then what? Then we get into North America. And what do we have in North America? Wow, so many things. Largest markets in the world. Now we are dealing with exchanges, okay? We are dealing with exchanges, okay? And therefore every case will be different, okay? Will be different. But you will see how this works, okay? So first we have ARCA. What do we have in the ARCA exchange? We have stocks. Okay, you can see here, what is the product available, or what do we have in the New York Stock Exchange, NYNC? We have stocks. Okay, so can you get delay data for free? No. For you to get real-time data, you have to subscribe and pay $2 a month. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, but in the other hand, you do get delayed free data for the end of the day. Okay, so if you were to chart New York Stock Exchange stocks, for example, IBM, you will get real-time data. Sorry, you will get free data after the market closes. Okay, in other words, after 20 minutes after market closes, is now real-time, even though it's still delayed because the market now is closed. You cannot trade until tomorrow, but now you get it for free without having to subscribe. Okay, so that's a good one. Okay, so then we got Nasdaq stocks, Nasdaq indices. But notice that there is a special exchange, which is the CBOA BZX, okay, which gives you access to ARCA, New York Stock Exchange, and Nasdaq stocks, and that exchange gives you free real-time data without subscribing. So in other words, for you to get real-time data with stocks, for example, if I load Microsoft, okay, Microsoft stocks in the US, and I load the 5-minute time frame, for example, notice it doesn't show as delayed. It shows as market closed. Okay, if again, let me show you the difference. If I do S&P 500 future, well, actually, I cannot do like that because I have selected stocks. I need to click futures. Okay, so I'll do it like this. So futures 1, continuous S&P futures. Notice that this one does have the word delayed. Okay, in the daily time frame, in the 5-minute time frame, all time frames, it shows as delayed. But if I type Microsoft, if I type IBM, which is a stock, it doesn't say delayed. It only says market close. Why? Because we are getting, since we have not subscribed to these data feeds coming from the exchange directly, we are getting the CBOE BZX free real-time data feeds. Okay, so you may be wondering, so why would someone ever subscribe? Well, very simple, because the CBOE BZX is less liquid compared to the New York Stock Exchange, the ARCA, and the Nasdaq. And maybe the data that we see on the chart for free is indeed real time, but we may be missing some of the trades, some of the quotes. So it will always be a little less precise, and maybe at times you may find 1, 2, 5 cents different compared to the real-time price on the New York Stock Exchange real time. But it's real time. You don't have like 15-minute, 20-minute delay, and probably I would say, given the fragility of the stock market compared to futures or forex, because stocks are very small instruments. The stock market is big when you add up 9,000 stocks available in the US, but one at a time, they are fragile. So having a few cents different, I would say, is not that big of a deal at all. Okay, so probably for stocks, I would say, unless you are very perfectionist and you need, for some reason, you don't need to subscribe to the stocks. You get the real-time data feed for free, and that is probably good enough. Okay. So let me keep going. Notice now, I am now diving into futures. So we have the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the Chicago Board Options, the Chicago Board of Trade, the Commodity Exchange, the New York Mercantile Exchange, the Chicago Board Options Exchange. So we have now futures, we have indices, we have the ICE futures. So what do we have? Well, every one of those are a completely different animal, and those are the painful ones. Okay, because now we are talking about $110 per month. If you only want E-mini, then it's 45. If you want the big contracts, then it's 110, or 25, or another 25. So if you subscribe to all the futures markets, basically you end up with anywhere between 100 plus to a few $100 per month just for the subscription, for the data. Okay, so that's the bad news, and that again has nothing to do with TradingView. It's just because the exchanges charge, and I mean, I'm sure that TradingView, for sure, they will keep a portion of that for themselves, which is fair enough. But at the same time, it's what it is. The exchanges charge, and therefore the charting package has to charge too. Good news, and I will show you that later on. We could certainly connect our broker to TradingView, and then you don't have to pay that. Okay, you don't have to pay that, and then you get that real-time data feeds without having to pay for that. Okay, so it's pretty powerful. Cool. So what else? Okay, so that would be for North America. This applies for US and Canada. Okay, then we got Europe. Okay, and it's gonna be a similar scenario. So notice that the countries: Belgrade, Istanbul, Spain with Madrid, Eurex, which is in Frankfurt, Euronext, Frankfurt Stock Exchange with German stocks, the ICE Europe, the London Stock Exchange, Milan, Italy, Moscow, Russia, Oslo, Switzerland, etc., etc. So many exchanges, okay? And in the world in which we live, it's certainly important, guys. If something's happening in some country, probably remember last year, for example, crazy lies among car companies that were lying about the pollution of their cars, and the real figures when it comes to how they were polluting the air versus what they had published for marketing purposes. And certain stocks dropped like 40%, and they are back up to the price they were before. So maybe if you had access to European stocks, you can certainly look at Volkswagen and some of those companies, and next thing you know, had beautiful trades on those markets. Okay, for example, just in case you didn't know, if you are in the US, okay, which is a classical question we receive all the time, because obviously the US is the country where you will find the greatest amount of trades around the world, even though we are a global community, and many of you are in other countries as well. But there is a broker called Interactive Brokers, okay? Interactive Brokers, where this broker has an account which is known as Universal Account. Okay, is the universal account. What does that mean? Well, it means that in one account, from one account, you can trade Forex, futures, options, stocks in the US, stocks in many countries, one account only. So you could purchase German stocks, Japanese stocks, you name it, from one account. It's really not difficult to do, but of course you need the data feed. And you can get it on TradingView. And by the way, to trade stocks, you may use the daily time frame, and you don't even need to subscribe to the German exchange if that was to be your plan, okay? Or Middle East, okay? Middle East, for example, you got Bahrain, Egypt, Dubai, South Africa, Saudi Arabia, you name it, okay? African stocks, Nigeria, etc. Asia Pacific, okay? Look at that. Australia, India, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Korea, you name it, Japan, New Zealand, more of Hong Kong, Thailand, Singapore, China with Shanghai and Shenzhen, Taiwan. So many opportunities around the world, guys. This is just beautiful. And one platform, you get all the data, okay? So no need to make your life complicated. And then even South America, so Mexico, Brazil, Colombia, Argentina, again, You have everything in here, so you can do your planning, your analysis. And by the way, I skipped this. I didn't do it too quick, but we are talking about $5, $15, $22, $30. Some exchanges are more expensive than others, depending on the amount of traders they want to attract. Asia is normally pretty affordable. You want to trade in Malaysia, $1 per share. Okay, emerging markets. You want to trade China. Well, that actually would be Hong Kong, $3. Okay, you want to trade Korea, $2. Okay, you want to see indices from Korea, free real-time data feed. Okay, you wanna see India, indices in India, free real-time data feed. So many markets that you can trade real-time, and it's all free there. Okay, and many are very very affordable with the pricing. Okay, again, I'm all about global markets in case you haven't noticed. Okay, so just in case you have never seen that this information was available, well, now you know where to find it. Okay, but what else? Let me take a look at questions. We're doing well, it seems. Nice. It seems that we are good with questions and everything else. So, what about this? I am about to demonstrate other features of TradingView, but I think that this could be a good time for me to take a short break. And when we are back, we continue. I think we have probably another 30 minutes to go, something like that. But I kind of feel that maybe doing it nonstop, another 30 minutes, maybe just a little too much. Okay, so we'll take a very short break, just a quick one, 5 minutes, and we'll come back in 5 and continue with the session. Okay, so I'll start the countdown. See you in 5, my friends. Hey everybody, this is Jose. Could you please confirm you hear my voice? It would be good, so I know we are ready to get restarted. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Let me take a look at your questions here. I can see a few texts on the chat box. We have Leslie. If I open an Interactive Brokers account, can I link it to TradingView? Then no, actually, TradingView is not linkable to Interactive Brokers is not linkable to TradeStation as of yet. Mm, I don't have a proof of it, but I did have conversations with TradingView, and it seems that there is plans and quite advanced for that integration to be effective. But I don't know when that would be. Okay, so I cannot confirm that as we speak. But again, that would the only problem of that would be for the international markets, if you wish, and the data fees there are actually quite affordable. So it would be a minor problem at this moment in time. Okay, and hopefully we have a final solution there sometime later, maybe this year. You can only see TradeStation, Wanda, and Gemini. Yes, but anyway, Leslie, there is another thing I want to discuss with you guys, which basically opens up for the majority of brokers. Okay, so let me show you this. Let me show you. So let's continue our conversation. Okay, so we've been looking, at the different ways to get into TradingView and the different features and so on, and what is TradingView. Okay, so we got two subjects left before we conclude the session, which is number one, we need to talk about brokers, and number two, I want to talk about the functionality that we use when we trade, functionality for traders. Okay, so you know better how to use TradingView as you use it. Okay, so brokers, okay, you will find everything related to brokers here in the trading panel. Outside the trading panel, you can certainly go for TradingView, and notice how in this main menu there is a broker section as well. So you can click here to kind of take a look at which are the brokers that are available. So you can see that I guess that there is a very major membership or partnership between Oanda and TradingView because they are here top on the list. But if you click more, okay, this is only about Oanda. Okay, wait a minute. There are many more brokers than Oanda. How can they only have Oanda here? Okay, interesting. It was not like that before. Normally, you would have a list of all the brokers. Not sure why we only have one now. Okay, well, whatever it is, if you go back to the chart, this is the best place where to find the brokers available, which is under this button on the right. Okay, so you have Stock Screener, you have the notes, you have the Pine Editor, the Strategy Tester, and the last box, which in my case it shows as paper trading. Okay, could be anything else. Okay, but this is where you're gonna have the brokers. Okay, it could actually be live trading, and it could be a broker. So when you click on it, you have this bottom window that opens, and here on the right, where again we get to see again the word paper trading, notice that there is a drop-down menu. You see the little down arrow. So if you click on it, okay, basically it's going to give you a list with all the different brokers available. Okay, notice that Oanda, for example, or forex.com, those are forex brokers. Okay. If you look at AMP, for example, which someone mentioned earlier on the chat, isn't it? AMP is a futures broker. Okay. Tradovate is a futures broker, right? Saxo is a CFD broker. Poloniex is a cryptocurrency broker. So there is a little bit of everything there. And I left TradeStation for the last because there is something important about TradeStation I want to discuss with you. So I'll come back to TradeStation in a minute. I use TradeStation in the session, so I am kind of assuming all of you have seen TradeStation before because I use it myself all the time. And it's a stockbroker, options broker, and futures broker. So you have all of those markets available with that connector. Okay, but I'll come back to that later. The one I want to discuss with you now is CQG. CQG is not a broker. Everything else is a broker. CQG is not. So what is CQG? Well, CQG is a professional trading platform. It's actually a software. You could think about it actually as a competitor of TradingView, in the sense that CQG is a very, very powerful trading platform that normally is being used by fund managers and things like that. It's a really serious piece of software. It's kind of a company that only provides the platform. So basically, they get into certain partnerships with certain brokers, and basically for you to get CQG, for you to be able to use broker ABC and trade using CQG, then that broker ABC will give you access to that platform. Okay, and some would charge for it a monthly fee, some may not charge for it depending on the arrangements. Some may give you options to get CQG with higher commissions, some may give you access to CQG with lower commissions, but then you have to pay for it separately. So each broker is of a different story. Okay, but long story short, the brokers that use CQG, which are many in the world, typically they happen to be pretty powerful brokers. Okay, pretty powerful brokers. Again, as I said, normally CQG is a platform that is utilized by fund managers. Okay, so it's serious stuff. So when you see a broker, which is a good one and does have CQG, there are many cases that you can talk to them, and there are different versions of CQG, and let's call it, they may call it differently because each broker, they do their marketing slightly different, but to keep it simple, I'm just going to call it the light version of CQG. Okay, so you may be able to talk to them as a retail trader and tell them that you would like them to give you access to that tuned down version of CQG. And why would you do that? Well, not because you want to use it, but because by having it, I mean, you could certainly use it if you have it, and it's a nice one. But if you have it, the beauty of that is that now you can connect to your broker via CQG. So it's kind of, it would be something like that, okay? So you have your broker, okay, whatever broker that is. So I'm just going to use the letter B, okay? And then you have CQG, okay? So here is CQG, okay? And then here is TradingView, okay? So here is TradingView, okay? And then here is you, okay? Right here is you. So you want to access TradingView, okay? You want to access TradingView, and you could for free. But for you to get real-time data feeds from TradingView, you need them from the broker, because on the other side of the broker, what do you have? You have the exchange that provides the data, okay? So again, you can get the data from TradingView, from the section I showed you on the website before. And if you were to get, for example, the S&P 500 futures from the CME directly from TradingView, that would be $45 a month, okay? You could do that, and it's valid. So then you don't need CQG, and you don't need the broker. You will be connected directly from TradingView all the way to the exchange. Okay, so that's one possibility. But the other possibility is that you connect through the exchange through CQG and the broker. The broker got the data from the exchange. The broker got a deal with CQG. The broker provides you CQG. CQG has a connector that plugs into TradeStation, and basically you benefit from all of this, okay, by going that route, okay? And again, this CQG access via TradingView basically allows you to use almost every very serious broker available in the world. It's almost like a filter, especially for derivative products such as futures and options, which are the most serious products to be traded if you are a fund manager, if you wish. So, most serious futures or options brokers in the world, they would have a way to give you access to CQG. Okay, so in other words, you have now a way to get the real-time data given to you by your broker, whereas most brokers will give it to you for free. You can now plug this into TradingView and have real-time charts. And then the easiest way, actually, if you don't have CQG and stuff like that, is actually TradeStation. Okay, so CQG is a complicated version on how to do it, but the beauty of CQG is that it allows for many brokers, many more brokers than there are in this list. The other way to do it, which is the simplest way, is to use TradeStation. Notice when I click TradeStation, I am being prompted now, do I want to connect to my live account or demo? Okay, and you can do both. And actually, you could actually trade live with TradeStation from TradingView. Okay, so I'm just gonna use demo. Okay, and what I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna click. Okay, and it's gonna bring me to a validation window. And for whatever reason, it's working very slow today. Typical case of weekend maintenance. Okay, so I'm just gonna use my username. So okay, and then I'm gonna use my password, and then I'm gonna log in. Okay, and now it's gonna ask me to do some additional security validation, which I'm gonna do on another computer screen for obvious reasons. And I'll get the screen back to you in just a sec. Okay, and what's happening now? So notice that the loading continues since I did my final validation. Can I see a few comments? I believe I'm going to be back with you in just a second. So I got a final validation, and now notice what's going on here. So it doesn't show paper money anymore. Now it shows TradeStation, right? So what happens now? Well, now if I load IBM, for example, okay, so IBM, and I select stocks, notice that I could just take the data the way I did before, but I can also notice what I got here that was not here before. I got a TradeStation box with a tick. Okay, so if I check mark that TradeStation box, what does that mean? It means that the data I got on the screen right now, when it comes to TradeStation, when it comes to IBM, sorry, it's coming from the TradeStation network. It's not coming from the the CZX exchange, the CBOE CZX exchange. Is coming directly from TradeStation, which is pure data coming from the exchange directly. Okay, and I get it for free. Same free and real time. And same story happens now if I go for ES, okay, S&P 500. So this is futures. Okay, so again, notice how I got the checkbox. Okay. Okay, so if I select ES, S&P minis, I pick, for example, March contract, notice that now it says closed, but it doesn't say delayed. Why? Because I do have on my TradeStation account real-time data feeds for futures, and my TradingView inherits that from the broker. Okay, so I have to somehow have a 2-minute conversation about TradeStation in case you are not using TradeStation, for you to understand how it works when it comes to market data, but also in case you are currently using TradeStation, because I find out of emails that we receive from you guys that many of you are using TradeStation and you are still using the old pricing models of TradeStation, meaning that many of you that are using TradeStation are paying for data and paying for commissions and paying for things that you should not. Okay, so I want to explain TradeStation. Let me try to keep that short. Hopefully I can do it in 2 minutes. Okay, so what is TradeStation doing or how they are operating nowadays? Well, TradeStation separates between equities, okay, and derivatives. Okay, let's call it futures. So let's say you never had an account with TradeStation and you need one. There are certain requirements for you to fulfill to open an account, apart from paperwork and proving residency or your address with utility bills, classical processes. Apart from that, there is funding requirements to have access to an account. Okay, so the funding requirement with equities is 500. The funding requirement with futures is 2,000, if I am not mistaken. Okay, actually it may be 5,000. But hey, I've seen it often enough to say it that with 2000 they'll take you. Okay. By the way, I am not suggesting 2000 is enough to trade futures, but you can trade micros. Okay, micro e-minis, and then 2000s is plenty. Okay. Well, I mean, plenty is never plenty, but it's plenty to start. Let's put it this way. Okay. Cool. So now, why am I talking about those minimums? Well, because the moment you have those minimums in your account, TradeStation will activate almost every single data feed for you for free. So you will get stock data feeds, you will get ETFs data feeds, you will get indices data feeds, you will get futures indices data feeds, you will get futures currencies data feeds, you will get futures metals data feeds, you will get futures energies data feeds, you will get futures meats and softs and agricultural products data feeds. So you get options data feeds. I mean, you get everything. As long as you have your account funded, you get everything, and all that data can be inherited into a TradingView. Okay, so what would you rather do? Open an account with TradeStation and put in there $500, and you don't need to pay again, or pay $45 a month. So again, after 1 year, you basically pay the same, and that money is lost. Where if you put that in an account after 1 year, is the same amount of money, but the amount is available for you to trade. The amount is still there, right? So that's why I'm kind of sharing with you this little trick, because it's certainly a very convenient way to do this. Okay, so, and by the way, if you are outside of America, you don't need to be in America to have a TradeStation account, and the same would apply to you, no matter if you are in the States or you're not. Okay, again, to make all those things simple, just like with TradingView, we created a link which was tradewithufos/TradingView. Okay, with TradeStation, we created a link which is tradewithufo/TradeStation. Okay, and that will bring you to a place where you can start applying for an account and everything else. But there is more I want to share with you, because remember, a minute ago I said that many of you may be using TradeStation, but you may be using still an old pricing model where you are being charged for data feeds and all of it. Okay, so take a look. If I come to tradewithufo/TradeStation, okay. Oh, I'm sorry, not TradeStation guides, just TradeStation. Here we go. So if you use the address I said before, you come to this page. This is a page where you go straight into account application, either for new customers or existing customers. Okay, but notice what we got there. If I click register, the name of this person shows up here automatically. Bradley Garris. Okay, so who is this guy? Well, it's a TradeStation representative. Okay, but what happens with him, apart from being a very kind person, is that he's used to work with us and our customers, and in that sense, this is a person you can ask for when you call TradeStation, or if you want to have his contact information, you can certainly shoot an email. Shoot an email to us, and we'll be more than happy to share that information with you guys. Okay, so reach at tradewithufos.com. Okay, and why am I talking about you contacting this guy? Well, because if you have an old pricing model where you are being charged for either commissions or data fees, a healthy conversation with these guys with this guy, or your own representative, that's fine too, may help you to unlock that problem and get you into a current model for what TradeStation is doing now with data feeds, which, as I said a minute ago, they are not charging any longer. Okay, so if they are charging for you data feeds, it's because you are using an old price model. Okay, so for you to know, in the US, the majority of brokers during 2019, they had to move into a pretty aggressive model where they don't charge for data feeds anymore, as long as for many markets, they don't charge commissions any longer either. They only pass you exchange fees, but they don't charge you commissions for routing. So for example, TradeStation, TD Ameritrade, Schwab, E-Trade, all those brokers, and more, they don't charge you any longer. So you trade stocks, you trade options, you trade futures, and you are not being charged a commission like in the old times. In the old times, they would charge you commission and exchange fees. Now the commission is free, and they only charge you the exchange fees, which are quite low. Okay, but in the old times, they also used to charge you for the data fees. Well, now not anymore either. Okay, and all of these, then you can plug it into TradingView, and now you have everything working for you in this very convenient way. Okay, cool. Very good. So I think I missed a few questions. So let me go back in the chat box just for a second to make sure I don't miss anything. Edward, you see 7 or 8 brokers listed on my brokers list. Okay, so you know what? I think I know what it is, Edward. You have a point. Because I am in Asia, I guess that the TradingView website is kind of intelligent or automatic, and based on my IP address, it would select the brokers that are available in my region, naturally speaking, even though, from Singapore, I could certainly have an account with TradeStation, but I guess it's not too common. So basically, they just pushed into me Oanda only. Where if you are in the US, Edward, you have more options. Okay, I guess that's what's happening. Bojan, 2000 is good to trade micros. I've been trading them for 2 months now, risking 2% per trade with less than 2000. Wonderful. Edward, even though TradeStation is no longer in the Forex business, they do provide Forex market data. Do you recommend using the TradeStation Forex data feed for analysis in TradingView as well? I would say it doesn't really matter, Edward. With Forex, we will always have a little bit of lack of precision. And the rules we use, isn't it? We add additional 5 pips for wiggle room. So we give breathing space to our stops, and we do a series of things. So really, if you were to use TradeStation for the data feed, the result, I would expect it to be very, very, very similar. Okay, so I would suggest to stick with any of them, whatever your preference is or whatever you've been using up to now. It should be fine, good enough. Okay, Mark, TradeStation is charging me 1.5 in and out for futures. Should I call them? Yes, absolutely, Mark. That's what I meant with old pricing models. Okay. Jay, glad I stayed. I might be able to save money on TradeStation. Thanks. And I may try TradingView. You are a good salesperson. Thank you very much. I certainly like to promote, things that are bringing us to a better place. When it comes to trading, to me, or business or anything in life, to me, I always look at everything from the angle risk and reward. And for me, commissions or paying for data fees or whatever, it's not about, some people in life are, let's call it, careful with money or going all the way to stingy, and then other people are more generous or all the way to careless with money. So it's not about where you are at with your preferences. It's all about minimizing your risk as a trader, and therefore paying less. It's something I really appreciate in what I do. Okay, so yeah, so one more thing, getting into the TradeStation website. Almost there. Okay, so here you have it. Okay, 0 commissions plus the power of trading. So let me see, pricing. Okay, so if I click on pricing, okay, $0 commission plus $1.50 per contract per side. Okay, so Mark, you may be on the right model based on what you said, given that. Okay, but if you use TS Go, okay, which TradeStation Go means that you use the app to execute, so then your per contract is 0.85. Okay, in the case of futures specifically, for stocks you can see it's pure 0. Okay, and for options as well, same story. Okay, by the way, you've seen me all the time in the sessions. Okay, especially when I do Forex, and if some of you have attended the Forex class that we do almost every month, we always talk about a very convenient way on how to execute, which is to plan your trades with TradingView, execute with the mobile app. So you have a mobile app to execute, which is a different device compared to your computer, which is where you plan the trade. And this is one way, I say it all the time, isn't it? This is one way on how to trick you into not becoming emotional, because when you plan, you are only dealing with the chart. And once your plan is done and you have a piece of paper or your tablet where you wrote entry, stop, and target, and you have the parameters of the trade, now you move into your mobile device and you place the order. That's what TradeStation calls TradeStation Go. Okay, that's what TradeStation calls TradeStation Go. Okay. Mark, I'm reading your questions. Unfortunately, with TradingView, you're talking about someone to talk to get a good deal for Pro Plus. Unfortunately, Mark, with TradingView, it's a very, very, very large company, and they just do everything online, and there is not like a call center or something like that where I could direct you to someone to call. I wish that was the case, but unfortunately, I would not know who to call for that purpose. Okay. Okay. Jay, I took very positively your prior comment, Jay. Thank you for that. Good. Okay. So anyway, now the last portion of the session I would like to discuss with you is a little bit more about the use of the charts. Okay, because we talked about what is TradingView, the social aspect of it. Which, by the way, the social aspect I didn't show you, but like for example, let's say I got a trade here. You see, you click publish. Okay, you just click publish. Okay, and you can publish privately. The resolution is too small to publish, so why is it telling me that? I'm not sure about that. Maybe because I'm doing some screen sharing or something like that. But anyway, so once you have the chart, you will just click on publish, okay? And if that's okay, please allow me to ignore that message, okay? And you would just type a title. You would type a title here. And after you type a title, you would type a description, and here you say, hey, this is the trade I want to execute, blah, 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 blah. And then you decide if it's a long trade, a neutral trade, a short trade, if it's an analysis, or if it's a tutorial. Remember the trading ideas versus the educational ideas earlier from the drop-down menu. That's where you select if you want it to be a trade on the left or an educational idea on the right. And then you come into categories, okay? And when you come into categories, you know what? Let me do it with the other one, because I'm not sure what's happening now, but I just wanna show you. Okay, so when you come into categories, okay, so here you can select what is it. Okay, so maybe you did a trade on supply and demand, and you were using FIPS, okay, and also you were using some technical indicator, maybe a moving average. Okay, so maybe you were doing all of these, so you could also add those categories. So when people search for your trades, they may search for that. But the best way is that you come here and then you type, hey, this is a trade with UFOs trade. Okay, so you type trade with UFOs. Okay, and guess what? It's right there. Okay, because we are connected with TradingView at this level, so they have our special key codes. Okay, so you can pick trade with UFOs, or you can pick AutoUFOs. Is there, or you can pick Auto Climate. Is there, or you can pick them all, right? Or Tradictive, so whatever it is, okay. And then even if you can connect to Twitter, stock tweets, and publish it in multiple places, and then you publish. So what happens when you publish? That you are publishing under your name, right? And what happens? Well, under your name, okay, under your name, my name here is Tradictive, right? And what happened to Tradictive? Okay, so if I look at my profile, and the same applies to Jay Blasco, which is the other name I was showing before, well, you got people that followed you. Okay, so everybody that followed you will now be notified that you have published a trade. So between you guys, okay, like you guys are doing a fantastic job with the Discord groups. Some of you are connected with the Telegram groups. You guys are doing a fantastic job. So from time to time, let's say some of you have a question. It's like, hey, you know what, that trade, I like it, but I'm not sure, whatever. So you can post it, use the AutoUFO keywords that I showed you, the tags that I showed you, and so on. And for the ones of you that tend to work together, just connect, do a search. Okay, so for example, let's look for Bojan. Okay, so I don't know what is your name, Bojan. Okay, but let's see if I can find you. Well, I don't remember your name by heart, but anyway, so, or maybe Mark or any of you. Okay, so you will look for the name, click on the name of that person. Now you get the profile of that person here. You just click follow, and that way now you are all connected. Oh, very good. I get it. Thank you so much, Bojan. Z Capital. Okay, so Z Capital 19. Okay, here we go. This is Bojan. So if I click Bojan, okay. So here is Bojan, and I can click follow. So now I follow you, Bojan. And now every trade you post, okay, like for example, it seems that there was one day you posted an idea here, okay. So every trade you post, I will be notified. And if you guys were to do things like that in a group, so next thing you know, it's kind of like you are keeping each other accountable, you're helping each other, you are reviewing each other trades. Maybe someone has found a trade, but some other member of the group, you happen to be very busy today, you didn't have time to look at the markets, but now you see someone is sharing a trade and you're like, oh my god, this trade looks very good on the euro, let's go take it. And even though you didn't have time to do your proper analysis like you do every day, at least you can still catch one trade or something like that, especially if it's coming from a member of the group that you interact in a regular basis with, and you know the style, and he or she follows the rules that you do, etc., etc. Okay. So again, all those social tools are certainly relevant and powerful, guys. Okay, so I'm making you aware of all of these because, again, one more time, out of the questions we receive on a regular basis, it is clear that not all of you are using TradingView at the full power. Okay, Siderman, let me add you as well. Okay, so here we go. So Siderman, sorry, not ticker, people, Siderman. Here we go. We got Mark. Okay, so here's Mark, and I follow you, my friend. So now we are connected. Okay, nice. So anyway, so now the last portion of the session today, the charts. Okay, this should be fairly quick. Okay, because charts is nothing new for all of us. Okay, so starting, we're gonna just go from top to bottom, left to right. Okay, so from top to bottom. On the left, we got a collection of tools. Okay, these are the drawing tools, which, if any, that's what you're gonna use the most. Okay, but then also there is another tool in TradingView which is quite handy because it also allows you to place orders. And why am I saying that? Well, because I just told you earlier that I am a fan, and I certainly share all the time the benefits of executing with your mobile phone. On top of that, with TradeStation, you get cheaper commissions, which is nice. But at the same time, remember, you got green light here with your TradeStation, meaning that if I take a trade now, I execute through TradeStation, even though the trade comes from TradingView. So there is a tool here, okay, which is called the long and the short position. Those tools are very cool because you can come into the chart, okay, and you can click anywhere on the chart and you can say, okay, so this middle point, this is going to be my entry. Okay, so let's say you plan on an entry, at this particular point. Okay, I'm just making this up. And let's say that you're going to have your stop, 2 points lower. Okay, so that's your stop, 2 points lower. Okay, so entry 77, stop 75. That's 2 points lower. Okay, and let's say your target is going to be all the way there. Okay, so let's say that's your trade. Okay, so apart from very visual, and you can certainly publish it like that, okay, and people would see it like that. So you can now come in here, right click, and create an order. Okay, and if I click create an order, okay, well, I'm connected to the simulated account, and the one I connected below earlier was the stock account, and this is obviously futures, so that's why it says non-tradable symbol. Okay, so we need to go into TradeStation. Okay, let me show you. I will come into TradeStation. Instead of using this account, I will select the futures one. Okay, now I am connected with the futures account. So now I will move this down, and now from here I would be able to create a limit order, and notice how now it's bringing this to a bracket order here on the left, where if I click buy, this is going into TradeStation. Okay, so it's very visual on how you could visually share your trade with others, but also execute from the charts in a way that in my mind is better than dragging lines up or down and so on. Plus you get risk management parameters in those boxes, such as the amount of points you're risking, the risk reward of the trade, 475 to 1. So you're gonna make 9.5 points, you're risking 2, blah, blah, blah. So again, it's again a pretty powerful tool. If you didn't know it existed, hopefully you like it. Okay, and if not, it's okay, because in the end, trading and using platforms is all about personal preference. Okay. What else? Here we got drawing tools, and here I'm not gonna explain anything, if that's okay, because it's I would say self-explanatory. Horizontal lines, rays, vertical lines. So just play around with it. There is plenty of videos on YouTube as well, where you can learn how to use the drawing tools in TradingView, and it's basically copy paste of other trading platforms. So I would say, not that big as a deal. But at the same time, I will say that you will, if you never used them before, you will not believe that this is based on a web type of environment, because the power of all these analytical tools, it's unbelievable. It's really, really, really complete. Okay. Now, by the way, talking about the tools you use the most. Okay. So let's say the long position, the short position, and the lines is something you use all the time. So one very convenient feature is to add to favorites the tools you use the most. And when you add to favorite, notice that this box just showed up. Okay, this is my FIB tool, FIB retracement lines. This is the long position, the short position. Okay, I could add anything. Maybe I like to do some text. I like to make notes on the chart, so I make text a preference. So once I get all of these there, okay, notice here on the bottom left, I got my little star, which is my favorites. So I could disable or enable by clicking on the bottom left, right? So if I enable, it shows up here. If I disable, it goes away. Okay, but again, the beauty is that now this bar has the tools I use the most, and therefore, when I'm doing something here on the screen, I don't need to drag my mouse all the way to the left to click something. I can have this box placed next to where I care. So I'm very quick with whatever I do with the charts. If you do things manually, when it comes to annotations, for example, and things like that. Okay, cool. So this is a highlight I would suggest from the left portion of the chart. There is more, but I would say everything else is kind of self-explanatory. So I will let you experience and play with it. Okay. What else? Indicators. Okay. So this is something that most of you should know, but just in case. Okay. With indicators, okay, you have the built-in indicators. You have the public library, which is indicators that people share. Remember, TradingView is a social platform, so many people may publish some tool. Of course, the majority of the tools here are going to be, I don't want to be too strict with my words, but the majority of tools are going to be developed by, let's say, retail traders that are, let's say, excited about trading and trying stuff, but not necessarily tools that are tested, professional tools. So, don't get me wrong, sometimes you'll find little jewels, and you may find a very nice tool that is very convenient for something. So you could certainly take a look, okay? But let's be realistic, it's just a public library, okay? So your bread and butter, I would say, is gonna be your built-ins and your invite script only. And then the my script, if you are a programmer and you develop your own scripts, and then volume profile, these are gonna be tools that have to do with volume analysis, okay? So inside volume of invite only scripts, not sure I need to explain that because I use that every single session, but this is where you find auto climate and AutoUFOs. Of course, you have to be subscribed to have this menu active, okay? And to subscribe to AutoUFOs and auto climate, I don't think I need to show it to you guys. You probably all know our website, www.tradewithufos.com/join. And then you get the tools in here, and that's it. And then you have the built-ins, okay, where you have plenty of tools. You can just type, you want an average, so you can just type average, and it will show you all the averages, and you just pick the one you like, okay? Now, what's beautiful here is, just like earlier, we worked on favorites. Notice how you can also make some of those tools to be favorite. So if you want your average exponential, your EMA, to be a favorite, and you want your auto climate and auto UFOs to be favorite. Okay, so what's the beauty of doing that? Well, the beauty of doing that is that now for you to insert those tools, instead of 2 steps, which is click indicators and then go find them and then click on them, and now they will appear on your chart. Okay, instead of that, which is a 3-step process, you can just let me remove it. You can just go into indicators, but you guys notice the drop-down menu there. So you click on the drop-down menu, and magic, here are your favorite indicators. So just by clicking there, automatically you have it. Okay, so it's a way faster way to get what you use available. Okay, what else? Your replay. Okay, we talked about it. Okay, your replay, we talked about it, so I will not repeat it because you know about this. And then going to the right as well, here you have the opportunity to create different type of layouts. Remember, with the free version, only one chart. With the pro premium version, etc., you can do more fancy stuff. I'm going back to charts. Mark, so many platforms to learn. Well, that's why I love TradingView, because you learn that one and basically that's it. Okay, since you can connect it with others, so it makes it much better. Okay, so I would focus on one charting software and then mobile apps. That's what I like the most. Anyway, so here you are looking at the premium version, I should say, where I'm using 8 setups. Okay, it could be 2, it could be whatever. But the beauty here, okay, notice this menu, both in the pro version, but also in the free version. When you click here in the bottom part, it has syncing options. And those syncing options allow you to sync the symbol, for example. So if you sync the symbol, and I change to the pound, the moment I change to the pound, both charts change to the pound. Why? Because my symbols are synced. Okay, if I want the chart on the right to be the pound and the chart on the left, I want it to be Microsoft, then I uncheck, and now the chart on the left is Microsoft, the chart on the right is the pound. Okay, because it's not synced. Okay, same with the interval. Okay, so on the left I got the 60, on the right I got let's say I'm going to do daily. Okay, so I'm going to do, or I'm going to do 5, okay, just to be quick. So 5 on the right, 60 on the left, but I could also sync the interval. So if I do interval syncing, now there are both 5 or both 60, okay, and I'm syncing the interval. I could sync the time. Okay, what does that mean? That, you know, whatever time I see, okay, so you can see as I move my, for example, if I was to do the interval is not synced. So if I was to do 240-minute time frame on the left and 5 minutes on the right, okay, of course I'm moving the cursor on the right. On the left it doesn't move. Why? Because of the different time frame. But now if I move on the left, okay, you know, this is gonna sync on the right chart where I am, because I'm using time syncing activated in this particular case. Okay, same with the crosshair. Okay, I may want my crosshair to show in both charts, or I may want my crosshair to show only in one of the charts. Same with the drawings. So for example, earlier we said, let's go back to Microsoft in both. So earlier we said, okay, so maybe one of my favorite tools, okay, when I draw is, you know, the long and short tool. So what happens? If I place a long and short tool, okay, here on the left, okay, this tool, as you can see, also shows on the right automatically, even though it's a different time frame. Why? Because I got the drawings synced, which I could disable if I choose to. Again, so many different things you can do, okay? And finally, okay, actually I got 2 more things to go. Those layouts can be saved. As you can see, you have an option for autosave. Okay, every 2 minutes they autosave, but you can also force to save now by clicking here. And then you can give names. By default, they come as on name, but if you click on rename, you can give them a specific name. So then, you know, you can do things like what I do for myself, where I come to load chart layout, And I got so many charts here. Okay, so let me get rid of those that I never saved. So I got charts here, that they use with FX Street, FXS, charts here, with a black and the white background, charts here for FX 240, 4 charts at a time, charts here for FX Street for swing trades, charts I use to calculate average rates for personal use of the currencies and nothing to do with trading, charts that I use to do, monthly trading with 3 time frames. So every one of those layouts, I click on it and it opens and it's a different story, as you can see. Okay, and they are all saved. Now for this, I do need to use the premium version, because with the free version you can save one. Okay, you can save one, which, as you can see, with the free version I named it as Trade with UFOs, but you cannot have more than one save. It's only one with the basic version. Okay, which I would say in most of the cases is enough, because in the end, your setup is going to be probably something like that. Okay, auto UFOs above, auto climate below, and then you'll have a moving average, isn't it? So this is probably how your chart will look like, and therefore this is probably good enough. Okay. So the last one has to do. Let me remove this. The last one has to do with the settings, the adjustments for the charts. And basically you have 2 places where to go. So you see there is a chart property settings wheel on the top that gives you access to a menu. I'll come back to the menu. So first locate the wheel. And then we have another settings wheel on the bottom right on the price axis, where also gives you access to other things. Okay, so keep in mind that the wheel that is on the price axis gives you options for settings related to the price axis. For example, do I want to show a countdown or I don't? Okay, now the countdown is off because the market is closed. But do I want to show a countdown, yes or no? Or do I want to show the symbol last value? Or do I want to show the name? Okay, so notice that here, for example, it says the value, but there is no name. So if I was to come in here and click on the name, now it also shows the name. So anything you want to customize on the price axis comes from the settings wheel on the bottom right. Okay, where everything you want to customize on the chart itself comes from the settings wheel on the top, which you could also access by right click, settings, it's the same, or you click on the prior wheel I showed you and you also have settings for the chart there. So that settings for the chart there is the same window that if I click settings on the top. Okay, so probably out of remembering this, it's easier to remember, the chart, settings wheel on the top, the price axis, setting wheel on the price axis. Probably it's an easier way to remember, but again, we're all different, so I will let you decide that. So when you get to the chart settings window, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 menus where you can change everything for your charts and save it as a template, as defaults. So you can have your charts look like whatever you want. For example, notice how I have a default here that I saved before called Trade with UFOs. So if I click Trade with UFOs, okay, everything comes to the default, which is, by the way, what I was using already. So nothing changed. Okay, but there are many options with TradingView, that things you can do. For example, you can turn on the dark color theme. Okay, and now everything is dark color. Okay, so I can come in here and go back to my settings and be like, hey, wait a minute, I want to go back to the TradingView template. Okay, and now everything went back. My chart, at least, went back to the white background because I am recovering the template of settings for my chart. Of course, outside my chart, I got my dark color theme. So if I want everything to go back to where it was, I need to go back to the prior configuration. Okay, but again, I will recover my chart settings from here. Okay, from here. So again, going back to the whole menu, knowing that whatever you change can be saved as a template, you have settings for the symbol, and this basically has to do with the candles. Okay, so changing those candles, changing the colors, things like that, showing the time zone for the exchange or other time zones, how many decimal places you want, things like that. Then you have the status line. The status line is this. Okay, so what do you want to change? What do you want to show? You want to show the description. S&P 500 E-mini futures. Okay, you want to show the symbol as well. You want to show the open, high, low, and close values. So what do you want to show? You want to show, if you add indicators, you want to show the title and the arguments. Okay, so for example, let's say I insert AutoUFOs. Okay, it's loading here, as you can see. So here's your AutoUFOs, right? So what do I see? Okay, what do I see? Well, I see AutoUFOs and I see the argument 0.5. Okay, I see indicator titles and arguments, but I don't see the values of the indicator. All those values that you see on the price axis, I don't see it here. But if I want, I could have it. How? I just click indicator values, and now notice how it's showing all the values, which, by the way, many are NA because there is no red UFOs above price because the market is making all times high. So there is no UFOs, but if there were, they would be there. Okay. So again, all those settings are from this window. You can have a background, all these things. Scales. Okay. Again, I think it's kind of self-explanatory. So when it comes to the scale, what are the parameters you want to change? I would say the indicator name label could be in some cases useful. In this case, it's very kind of bulgy. So that's why I have it disabled, but in some other indicators, maybe using this feature here of no overlapping is always often very confusing, especially if notice if I go for appearance and I change my font to a very large font, notice how some of the labels overlap. Okay, you see that one and that one, they overlap. So with the scales, I can select no overlapping, and if I click no overlap, notice that my labels don't overlap. Okay, what's the problem? The problem is that now they are not aligned with the place they should be, because notice that if I uncheck no overlapping, 3371 is lining up with the green line, which is 3371. But if I click on no overlapping labels, so now 3371 is all the way down here, which is, I don't know, maybe 3368. So it's not the right location. Okay, but you can read the labels. Okay, so everything got pros and cons, and again, it's personal preference. So I will let you play with it. Then we got the appearance, where you can have a watermark. Okay, where you show, we are showing that here with the watermark. We got the S&P 500, so I could disable it or enable it. You can change the font, as I did before. All of these things are customizable. And then we got trading, which this has to do, with the trades you take. Do you want to show them on the chart? Do you want to show orders waiting to get filled on the chart? What do you want to show? And then finally, events. That's very useful if you do, for example, Forex trading, and you are trading the news and you want to show economic events ahead of time. So you can select economic events, or even if you trade the S&P 500, for example. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's scroll back. Sorry about that. Okay, so I guess it's not loading with the TradeStation data feed, but with other data feeds, for example, if I load the euro, yeah, so you can see here. Oh, I know why. I only got one bubble here. See, so I only got one report here, and the reason why is, again, coming back to settings and events. I only have show future events. Okay, so if I was to uncheck that, it would show every time a news was reported in the past. You can see all those bubbles, and you can go take a look at what it was and how could you have traded it, and you can backtest it and develop or polish your methodologies, or be careful before a news is about to happen, because those bubbles show before it happens. They don't show after, they show before. Okay, so it's super convenient for the intraday traders, but also for the long-term traders. Okay, let's say you trade Microsoft, okay, and you are trading swing trades, okay, so you're using daily time frames or something like that, and let's say you are concerned about earnings, okay, so notice that it shows you that the earnings were on January 29, but also it shows you that the next earnings will be on April 23. So you have not only the past events, but you also have the future events, so you can do backtesting, but also you can do proper planning for trades that you have not executed yet, okay? And all of these would be here in the chart settings window, okay? And then here on the right, okay, and this is my last portion. So you can set up your own watch list with the basic version. You can set up one watch list. With the pro version, you can set up multiple watch lists. Okay, so swaps, all forex, exotics, minors, CFDs. So you can set up different watch lists with the free version. Only one. If I want to make a new one, then it will give me an error message because it's the pro version. Okay, you can set up alerts. Okay, alerts, which alerts on TradingView live on the server side. And because they reside on the server side, the beauty is that even if your computer is off, they will still trigger. And you can get pop-ups on your phone. You can get emails depending on your configuration. Okay, so you can right-click here and say, hey, add an alert. Okay, and now you have it here. Notify on the app, show a pop-up, send an email, blah, 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 create. The moment you do that, your alerts show here. Okay, and you can then cancel if you want to. Click on the X, you just cancel the alert, whatever. Again, with a free version, you can add one alert. With the pro version, you have no limits for the alerts. Then you have a data window here. I'm just gonna skip all of these until I get to yes, I know what's happening here. This is the order panel. Okay, this is the panel that we use to do planning. Okay, so if I was to enter a trade with the S&P futures, for example, because I have my account connected with a futures account, F is for futures for TradeStation. So because of that, then my order panel is available. If I have a forex or a stock symbol which is not tradable in a futures account, then it says non-tradable. Okay. One thing you could do is switch from TradeStation to paper trading, because paper trading account basically will give you access to the order panel all the time, no matter the symbol, no matter the market. Okay. So you can do your planning here, because here the idea is that you can type, hey, I want to buy a 190, my stop is 188, so I'm risking $2, and I want my target to be, I don't know, 205. So if this was the trade, okay, and you want to risk $250 per trade, so that means, sorry, I'm not sure what I did, 250, that's what I wanted to type. So that means that you need to buy 125 shares, because buying 125 shares will give you $250 of risk. And at the speed of the light, you can calculate your position size. But the beauty of this is that it also applies to futures. So if you were to do this with futures and you do it on the S&P, it's going to give you the size. But for you futures traders out there, the point value of the S&P is $50 per point. But what if you do it on crude oil? Well, if you do it on crude oil, the point value of crude oil, it's not $50 a point, it's a different point value. And if you do it on lean hogs, it's a different point value. And if you do it on gold, it's a different point value. And if you do it on the Euro futures, it's a different point value. Good news, this calculator knows all the point values by heart. The moment you type entry, stop, and target, and then you type how many dollars you want to risk, it will tell you how many contracts to use in the trade to manage your risk. It's super powerful, super handy, super convenient. And then finally, you have a DOM, which I just want to flash it so you know it exists, but I will not talk about it. You see me use DOM in TradeStation. TradeStation calls it the matrix. But, again, on TradingView, as I said many times, I prefer to kind of direct you to using your phone to execute, okay? So the one last thing, I know I keep saying one last, but this is really the last one. I will show it to you, speed of the light, and then I'll take the few questions I see you guys have typed, and we will conclude the session for today. So the one thing I want to show it to you is I want to show you my phone. Okay, so this is my mobile phone, and when you see is TradingView on the mobile phone. So what's the beauty of that? Well, the beauty of that is that when I tap on the charts, okay, and I show you my charts, okay, these are the charts on my phone, which are exactly the same thing I have in this particular tab. Okay, this is my phone. It's exactly the same thing, depending on how much you zoom in and zoom out, of course, but it's exactly the same thing. And if I was to do, including the UFOs and everything, so if I was to do anything, oh, sorry, I just got my phone to come down. So if I was to, for example, change the symbol here, okay, remember I got Microsoft in both the chart on my phone, and I was to change the symbol to the euro, okay, and I go back to my phone and I close the app, okay, and then I go back to my phone and I reopen the app, okay, which I just did, okay, and I get into my charts. Okay, so interestingly enough, I'm not sure why, but now, oh, okay, yeah, because it's an unnamed workspace. Okay, got it. That's what it is, and it has not saved yet, and then that's what it is. Yes, you know it has not saved because you have the dotted lines right there, so then it has not saved. If I force it to save, notice what just happened on my phone. It says the chart has been modified. If you don't want the chart to overlap, please choose it in an over. Browser tab. Do you want to reload this chart? Yes. If I reload this chart on my phone, magic, I got the euro and Microsoft. So in other words, as long as you have saved, which you know, TradingView auto saves automatically every 2 minutes, or you do it manually, and you know it with the dotted lines versus a continuous line here on the little cloud, then your phone mirrors 100% what you have on your computer screen. In other words, you plan the trade and then you're on the go. Maybe let's say you trade from home, but then you spend your day in an office working as an employee of a company, for example. But you do need to manage your trades or your investments. You can do it on the go in a way that is extremely visual because basically you replicated what you had on your screen on your phone, okay, or tablet, okay, for that matter, okay. Okay, so I'm basically done. Okay, I am basically done. So I'm gonna read the chat box to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh my God, I'm just realizing I missed a lot of your questions, guys. Okay. Edward, even though trust station, oh yes, we talked about that before. Yes, we talked about it before. Okay, I'm just catching up, guys. Just bear with me. Yes, Bojan. Click is the baby version. Yeah, still the embryon, I would say. Mario, Jose, could you please show how to save a chart? Yes, so I just did. You just either click on the little cloud or the drop-down menu and click Save Now, which now is gray out because there's nothing to save. Or you just make sure auto-save is on and then it auto-saves every 2 minutes. Marius, is AutoClimate compatible with TradeStation 9.5 update? Yes. It appears on the indicator list, but it won't appear on the charts. Okay, so then you may have it could happen at times. You may have a problem with the activation of the app on the TradeStation store because 9.5 receives, of course, much less support compared to 10.0 at this time, and expect 9.5 to stop receiving support anytime, by the way. But again, it works. It does. Okay, indeed it does. So my recommendation would be that you call TradeStation and they can assist you. Probably what they will ask you to do is to remove the folder where the apps get activated inside TradeStation and restart TradeStation, and then that forces the reload. And the moment it reloads, then it reinstalls, and that's it. So it's probably a 15-minute call on TradeStation if you call at a time that there is no waiting line. Okay, so don't call at the beginning of market hours because then it's going to be 45 minutes. But if you call any other time, it should be quite quick. Okay. Edward, great info. Thank you very much. Dave, thank you, Jose. Thank you to you. Bojan, I'm going to start utilizing TradingView as my primary platform soon. I will not blame you for that. Osman, thanks, mate. See you next time. My pleasure. Very good, Marius. Thank you. Thank you to all my friends. We are done with the session today. Again, today, in one hand, is very basic. We've been talking about software, but also we've been sharing a collection of little tips that, in my mind, do make a difference. And hopefully, this was useful to you guys. So anyway, if you're watching this recorded, you have any question, or if there is anything I missed during the session, you can certainly shoot an email to reach@tradewithufos.com, and we'll take a look. And if it's something you need to send directly to me, use the same email address, and I can they will either forward it to me and I will respond to you, or I can take this question into the next session and give you an answer in the YouTube channel as well. Okay. Very good, everybody. Enjoy the remaining part of the Sunday. A pleasure to spend a couple of hours with you, a bit more than 2 hours. But again, thanks for joining me. And again, see you again in the week. The moment the market opens on Monday, we'll get together on the Tuesday, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. You guys take care. Keep up the good work, and see you soon. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.